Welcome everyone. Namaste. Today's Guru Purnima. We should pay our obeisance to all the teachers, Guru, God, Absolute, pure Self in all of us. None other than ourself, none other than us. Thank you. Neelakantan ji, do you have any shloka for Guru Purnima?
Yeah, I have a Guru Padaka Stotram, but it is 9 long slokams, but I will tell only 2, first and the last. I can tell the whole thing, but it will take time. That's but I'll just chant the first and the last. Ananta samsara samudratara naukayitabhyam Guru Bhaktitabhyam Vairagya Samrajya Tapujanabhyam Namo Namah Shri Guru Padukabhyam. Repeated prostrations to the holy sandals of my reverential Guru, which serves as a boat to cross the ocean of relative existence and which endows me with devotion to the ultimate and to give away the relative existence. Vairagya Samrajya. Shama, sorry, I'll go to the last one. Kamadi Sarpav Rajagarudabhya Videka Vairagya Nidhi Pradabhyam Bodha Pradabhyam Drudamokshadabhyam Bodha Pradabhyam Drudamokshadabhyam Namo Namah Shri Guru Padukabhyam Namo Namah Shri Guru Padukabhyam. Repeated prostrations to the Guru's sandals, which are like eagle for the serpent of desires and blesses me with the treasure of discrimination and dispassion, which enlightens the aspirant to the true knowledge. And it quickens me my reaching of that ultimate state, if you call it a state.
Anyone has any question or anything to talk about? Yes, Suzanne, you have to unmute yourself. Yes.
Hello?
Yes, Suzanne.
Can you
Yes.
hear? No, I can't see you, but I was just reading a little book the other day, a little wisdom book, because I was looking for something to write down for somebody, and I found this little saying that I wrote down, and I just thought I'd read it. I thought it was nice. I don't know if, so it says, let nothing disturb you. Let nothing frighten you. Everything passes away except God. God alone is sufficient. And it's written by Saint Teresa. I've read a couple of things by her that she's written, which is quite beautiful. That's it.
Beautiful. Very nice.
Very simple, but...
You know, we talk about God, but we really know what is God? And where is this God? And how to remember God? Or how to recognize this God? There are two aspects of it. One is to remember God, and one is the God remembers us. So we do the first step, and the first step takes us to the second step. It's not even a step. It is our natural state, where you are in that constant abidance, which you call as remembrance. So even when Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that if you remember me, you will reach me. What does this mean? This remembrance is Atma Nishta, that abidance in that pure self. Staying as a witness, awareness, that uninvolved witness. And what are you leaving behind? Leaving behind the ego, leaving behind identity. And what are you surrendering? Surrendering that fake identity to that God. So what Krishna promises is actually is. Nothing else is left. Even if he wants to break his promise, he cannot. Because if you have surrendered ego and you're abiding as awareness, then which promise who has to take? His promise is only to the one who is just a newcomer to this whole practice. The one who has just entered the door and he is thinking, what should I do? That promise, what Krishna is doing, only is for that one. Not for anyone else. Not for the one who is a devotee or who is a mature seeker who is already established. His invitation is for the one who has doubt. Only a person in doubt needs some reassurance. The one who is already a convert doesn't need any reassurance from anyone. He is that reassurance himself, standing on its own support. No external support needed. Only if initially you need external support from scriptures or from a guru or from a saying or from a teacher or from a fellow seeker. But once you know that self within, even for a fraction of a second, that will take you in. And that will finish this fake identity also. That will make everything happen. Surrender, awakening, knowledge. As if that power takes over everything. It finishes everything. You just have to surrender to that power. And that power is in all of us. And it is an equal power in all of us. It's not that it is more in someone and less in other. Only difference is there is more ego in someone and less in other. Ego is like a thick wall for some, and for some it is like just like a light smoke which just dissipates and nothing is left. So who is ignorant? Only ego is ignorant. Self is self-effulgent. It knows everything. It is always free. Only it appears to be in bondage when it is in a body. It only gives that abhas, that illusion, only for how long that body lasts. And that too may be to others, but not to the one who is abiding in self. For him, he is free. He is always free, with or without body. And so when we talk about remembrance, we are talking about remembrance only when we are not fully in our natural state. Before that, remembrance is just trying to remember if something else is pulling you into a form. But when nothing is pulling you into the form, when you're all energy into that, then it is just a natural, effortless state. Sahaj Yoga. No effort is needed. So one illusion, to get rid of one illusion, we have to put efforts to get rid of that illusion. As if we are trying to convince mind what it believes in. But if something in you is so open to this knowledge, to this understanding, then who needs effort for what? It is a simple understanding at the level of heart. And if you know it, there's nothing else needs to be done. Because remember, all practices are done from that ego, mind-body complex only. Till you believe in that as you, practice continues. And the moment you understand, the practice drops and what is left is that only. What else is there? As Suzanne was pointing out, there is nothing but God. God is eternal. That which never changes. When we recognize ourselves as that pure self, unchanging awareness, then you are in that bliss all the time. But if you identify yourself as this restless mind, then you are always in suffering. It is as simple as that. So what technique, what practice? Self-inquiry will take you here only. What is self-inquiry? Self-inquiry will lead to self-realization, and self-realization will lead to self-abidance only. That's all. Because self is there even when you think you are mind. And self is there when there is no mind. And self is also there in your deep sleep when that mind is not there, but you are also not aware. Self never changes. If you start identifying yourself with that pure self, in whatever way, you can call it remembering it in whatever way, by giving it a name as God, or just your pure self, or awareness, Brahman, that perceiver of everything, that uninvolved witness, whatever works for you. If you can be in it, remember in it, as it, maybe with efforts, I don't know. Initially, there might be some efforts in it. But as you recognize it, as you know it, then who has to remember it? There are not two people that someone has to remember it. Even as an ego, when you move out in society, do you have to remember your name or your sex or where you come from? Maybe unless you have very bad memory issues or delirious state or under the effect of some drugs, that's a different story. But in a normal circumstance, you don't, even if you're sleeping, someone wakes you up by your name, you wake up. You remember yourself by name. It is exactly the same. The moment you identify, you recognize that pure self, then this effort to remember it is gone. Because there are not two people that one has to remember it. So even when Krishna is saying that remember me and I will make sure that you reach me, he is only talking to ego. He is not talking to that self within us. And he is that self talking to that ego. But if you 100% convinced and believe, then nothing else needs to be done. You're already that self. Whatever identity mind has to keep, body has to keep, let them keep. You stay as uninvolved witness to whatever is happening. And see the magic of this. Even your just pure conviction on it can free you forever without any other practice. But next day, if you slip back into the ego mode and then you suffer, then who is to blame? You again went into it. Like an alcoholic who, after being drunk, had injuries, fell into the gutter. Next day he says, sorry, I'm not going to drink. And then at night again he drinks, does the same. Then who is to blame? It is your choice. You can do anything with this life. You can stay in the ego mode and keep going up and down on roller coaster. Or you can move out and just stay as a witness to things and enjoy your bliss, eternal bliss. And you can't blame to any situation, any circumstances for your suffering. It is self-inflicted. Whatever way the day goes by, body has to play some roles. Nobody is putting pressure on you to stay as ego mode. Nobody is sabotaging your freedom except you. Though it is giving you all the suffering, but you still love it somehow. This is love and a hate relationship with ego. You can't leave it, though it is causing all the problems. Maybe you still are fooled by the mind, which gives false promises that it might give you some pleasure or joy. And sometimes we become slave of the mind. We are so much dependent on mind that there are thousands of techniques how to calm mind, how to bring peace to the mind. And we become slave of this mind. We try to make sure that the mind doesn't get restless, otherwise I will lose my sleep. Who talks like this? The one who believes he is the mind. The one who believes that without mind he cannot survive. Our dependency on it for our seeking pleasures through it is the bondage. If you don't have to do anything with the mind, then it's not going to affect you in any way. Let it create what it creates. Whom do you want to impress by saying you have a pure mind or a still mind? Does anyone knows what is going in your mind? You only know your garbage. Nobody else knows. Let it be whatever it is. Your ownership is the problem. The moment you give up ownership of this body-mind complex, you know that you are eternally free. Always you were free. But if you start identifying with the task, with the issues of life, this play will continue till this body is there. Some play will be happening, some situation will be arising, some work will be given to the body, something will be happening. Your identification with that as a doer is problem. All bodily actions, all mind involved in those bodily actions. Who are you in this whole? That pure self is never involved. And self is not what self means. Self. Self means self. Myself. I am. But we think that self is this body-mind. So scared of death. It looks like I will die. People who are sick with a disease, they say, I don't want to die. Who speaks like that? Definitely identity. Who comes home and tells I had a bad day? Who says that? Witness will say that he had a bad day. Uninvolved witness will say this, that I had a very bad day. Who will say that? Body will say that? Can body say that? And we all know mind is only bundle of thoughts. Others can't read your thoughts. Then who speaks like this? If you understand this truth, you are free right now. In normal conversation, you can speak anything. But a realized person Where does he speak from? His mind, his thoughts, or sometimes from thoughts and sometimes from that pure awareness? Just for the sake of saying, you can say, as others are saying, it's a hot day. Yes, it's a hot day. Oh, it is very tiring. Yes, it is tiring. But that witness which you are, can that blame anyone for any type of day, good or bad? Does he have any choice? Witness. How witness can suffer? Always see where your thoughts and your speech and your actions are coming from. Are they coming from the egoistic identity, or they're coming from pure self? Even recognizing this will finish your journey as ego. It is so easy, so simple. What practice you need for this? And even this, what I'm talking about, recognizing from where you are speaking out or thinking or acting. Once you understand even this simple thing, you would never ever want to go back into the ego mode, because it bites, everything bites at that level. There you have to adjust everything. You have to satisfy others' ego, your ego. You have to rectify situations. Why? Because you want mind to be just restful. Otherwise, it will play havoc. And not just your mind, you want to settle others' mind, because others can create havoc on you. And this is the life almost all human beings live. Satisfying their ego, others' ego, and then life ends. Where is the freedom? Where is happiness? Happiness is only when we think the mind is not agitated, but that's a Cold War state. It is just ready to show its tantrums. Is this life? The one who is doing all this drama has to go looking for some sort of satisfaction, some sort of balance. That has to go. That cannot do this task. It has done for millions of years. Still, he could not fix anything. Let that absolute fix everything for us, or not fix. Who cares? You have lived your life on your terms. Now live life in terms of God. Maybe most of the people are into middle age, sort of. Maybe, I don't know how long people live nowadays, but let's say ballpark figure, we are almost middle. So let's say next half, give it to God. Let Him manage now. Take this gamble. Maybe play this gamble for a year or two, and if you're not satisfied, then you take it back. But give me one example in which someone has realized the self and repented and said, my God, what a horrible experience, I want my ego back. One person who really felt sorry after realizing self, including the one who were even killed. Freedom is so easy, so simple, if you understand the truth. But it is so difficult if ego keeps trying. If you give power to ego to finish ego, how would it do it? It will go from one technique to other technique, from one teacher to other teacher. Pilgrimage, reading, because reading can never end. That's a very good excuse. I have only read 20 scriptures, I have to finish Upanishads, now I have to learn Sanskrit, I have to learn Veda, now I am into Bhagavan teachings, I don't know Tamil, I have to learn Tamil first. Maybe one life is less, then it gives excuses to not finish the story. Understand the Guru in you is you yourself, but to know that Guru, you have to give up which is meaningless, but you have created, your conditioning has created meaning to that, and society has created meaning to that. Even organized religion has given meaning to that. That awareness in us, does it have any name, any form, any religion? What is it? Just be that. When you talk to someone, talk from there, act from there, behave from there, sleep from there. Whatever is happening in your life, never lose awareness of that pure awareness. Be aware of it all the time. It looks very easy, and it is actually very easy. And it looks like truth is so simple. It is so simple. And you do it, and you know the effect of that. Mind has no clue. Mind can only compare of the joy of acquiring something. Mind cannot give you that bliss. It can promise big things, but it cannot. Mind cannot make you fearless. Mind can give you some contentment when you acquire something, but not this Param Santosha, the extreme contentment, independent of all circumstances around you. Only you yourself can give everything what you're looking for. If you stop looking for all these things but stay as what you are, without identifying with anything, then you are that absolute bliss all the time. Just disentangle yourself from mind. You don't even have to fix it. You just have to move out of it. Even let it stay there. Let it make all noise. But give away your ownership of it. This is most important. Bhagavan puts down very nicely saying, Chumma Yeru, just keep quiet. Why he's using this word keep quiet? Because all thoughts belongs to ego, not to you. Understand this truth. If you come and report that they are troubling me, that means that me is still there. That me has to go. That me is ego. That is not you. Again, you are identifying yourself with something completely illusory. It is so easy to understand this whole thing. It is just a play. Understand how to get out of it. Like people play other games, isn't it? Aptitude test. There are 3 figures and the 4th you have to guess among 4 choices. You see the pattern. Follow the pattern and find the 4th and aptitude test. That's what these tests are, isn't it? Try to keep contemplating on this truth in different ways, whatever works for you. And finish this story. You don't need too much of IQ for this, or too much of book reading. More you are intelligent, more you will be in trouble. Simple, innocent farmer can be free very quickly. And all these intelligent people will stay in trap for too long, I believe. Because they use intellect, their conditioning, their knowledge, their base of knowledge, and they can't get out of the maze. Keep quiet. Understand the one who always have doubts and questions is only your mind talking. It's a self-talk. It will never end. Your questions will never finish. Your doubts will never go away. Because these doubts, these questions will keep ego alive. Only keeping quiet, staying as uninvolved witness to whatever is unfolding within you and outside can free you. Not even controlling mind and doing different types of exercises. Maybe it might work for someone. And I'm pretty sure there is some truth in all those things, but let's finish it now without using any method. No method is needed for it. What path you have to take to know yourself? Just stand still. Don't take any path. Don't go anywhere. Don't choose any direction. All doing is by the doer. Doer is the ego. You're not a doer. It all looks very muggy, muzzled. The mind gets very, very confused, and you think you are mind, and there's no way out of this maze. But if you see from the top, it looks so clear, so transparent, that view from the top. You understand that all what we think we are in a fix is just here. Leave it. Don't try to fix up what mind is asking to fix. Mind is only buying time. Only thing which is binding you in this world is your mind and its thoughts. Keeping you as a person. Mind's biggest ace is how would I survive? I have plans, agendas, mission, how they will all be fulfilled. As if you are emperor, that unless you do all these things before going for nirvana, the world will collapse. How important ego feels about its soul. Some crazy ideas about achievements in life. If your mind puts all these questions to you, ask your mind, will it give you time for liberation once you have sorted out everything what mind is asking you? It will make sure that this body will not be dead and will finish its own liberation. Can your mind give this guarantee to you? Bring all your energy to your heart. Be a humble devotee of pure self. If you can't do it, if you have a lot of dreams, desires to fulfill, then please finish those first. If you think you can finish them. And then come back here after 10, 20 years or few births or whenever you think you are ready. Otherwise, you are wasting time. You are still not finishing those desires and now taking this pathless path of freedom and then being confused in your mind game. When thoughts arise, don't give your energy to thoughts. Energy to thoughts is your interest in those thoughts. how good those thoughts are, how bad those thoughts are. Try to just abide in silence, even when those thoughts are going on. This is the remembrance, what Bhagavad Gita talks about. This is true remembrance. People think just taking a mala, a bead, a rosary, and just japa of a name. Tongue can do that japa, but mind can still go somewhere else. Then this act is just does not sort out any purpose. If you want to call that awareness by any name, and you love to call by that name, and that name helps you to be there, that's also good. Whatever works for you. But be there. And this is the best practice to dissolve ego, to be free. Morning you wake up, you stay in awareness. You stay as a witness, and the day goes by, and then you go to sleep. If that is so intense in daytime, even at night when you dream, even in dream, that awareness stays, and the dream continues. And the dream finishes and the deep sleep comes, where the body sleeps, but the awareness stays. And then a waking comes, and this word appears. But this word cannot fool to the one who is already awakened. And then this awakening thing continues, and these activities continue. And then the cycle of this body continues in these three parts. Awareness is unaffected, untouched, untainted, uninvolved all the time. And it's such a joyous, beautiful anubhuti or experience that how this body is doing things. Actually, a jnani is more amazed how the body is doing than an egoistic person. Because egoistic person will raise hand and say, I am doing it. Who else is doing it? I am the one, I am the doer. And that is the first and last sin. The one who raises hand and says, I am the doer. And the jnani is so perplexed how the words flows, how the body moves, how people come, how the work is done. And even the failures, he's okay, because that's what it is happening. He was trying to do, things are not happening. Body is doing, he just watches. It's not that he will keep telling everyone, I am a witness, I am a witness. That's complete stupidness. But internally, you are so much in joy of watching this show. You don't know how it is happening. You are completely oblivion to it. And so I say, jnani knows the least. He does not know anything how things are happening. Only ego knows. Ego knows everything. That is why an egoistic person cannot receive grace. Because it already thinks that it knows everything. He is very smart. He can sort out everything. He knows he will pick up a practice and he will sort out liberation as well. something has to click within you. Even for a fraction of a second, with all this knowledge and listening and satsang, even if it clicks like a spark for a fraction of a second, it can finish everything. Believe in these words. Listen from your heart. Be open. Be in that acceptance mode. Don't be close-minded. Don't be a doubter. And see how beautifully it will unfold everything within you, because it is all within you. All that software is within you. Code to open this lock in your heart is within you. Lock opens as the ego melts. They both are same process, simultaneous process. If someone says that it's not happening and is impatient and is saying he's trying hard, that itself is showing that he's talking from that ego, isn't it? Otherwise, who would say like that? Who is there to say anything? There is no person there. Allow your ego to dissolve by these pointers, by these words. Allow it to finish. You are that Guru. Today is Guru Purnima, and Purnima is full moon. It is beautiful out there, if you go out and see the moon. And the same light is shining in all of us. That Guru in us. Don't just remember it, be it. You are that. Recognize yourself as that Guru and recognize mind as external to you. You are before that. You are eternal. It is transient. It comes and goes. Whatever practice you call as practice, practice on your own self. Meditate on your own self. Be a devotee of your own self. Allow the ego to melt, devotee to disappear. Be that. Live life as that self, and you are already free. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Thank you, Sanjay.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanjay.